Today we're going to be smoking two 8-pound turkey breasts. These are enhanced turkey breasts, which means they've been pre-brined, and we're going to unpack them. And first thing we're going to do is remove some of the excess skin and some of the excess fat. Normally the first step in this process would be to brine these turkey breasts, which means to soak them in a solution of water, salt, and sugar for several hours. But since these birds have been enhanced, it just means that during the packing process they have been soaked in a salt solution with some other ingredients to help retain moisture while the turkey breasts cook. We are going to remove as much of the loose skin and the excess fat that's just kind of hanging there as possible, since these will cook at a different rate than the meat itself. We don't want these hanging off and just kind of burning and not cooking as evenly as the rest of the bird. So we're going to do a good job of trimming this up, and we're going to do both birds, and then we're going to apply a very simple seasoning to both the inside of the cavity of each breast, and after applying a little bit of vegetable oil to the skin, we're going to apply a little bit of salt, some onion powder, and some garlic powder just to give it a good flavor as it's cooking. And we want the oil to help give us a nice crispy skin. We're planning on cooking these birds at a little bit higher temperature than the normal slow temperatures that you would normally relate to barbecue, but when we cook at a high temperature in the range of 350 to 360 degrees, it allows us to get a crispier skin, and that's what we're after. We don't want a rubbery skin on these turkey breasts. One thing I like about turkey breasts is how economical they can be. These were purchased on sale for 99 cents a pound. Now we're going to eat one of them today, and I'm sure we'll have some leftovers. And the other one we're going to slice up and vacuum pack and store for later use. We're going to be able to feed a family of 4 today for well under $15, including several side dish items that we're going to have along with these. Another thing that I like about this particular recipe is its simplicity. We're going to be using 4 basic ingredients. A little bit of vegetable oil, like I had mentioned before, to coat the outside of the bird to help give us that crispy skin that we're after. A little bit of kosher salt, some onion powder, and some garlic powder. With those 3 seasonings, we're going to get enough flavor on the outside of the bird, and we know that since the meat has already been brined, that the turkey is going to retain moisture. It's going to be juicy and flavorful just the way we want it. Because we're cooking just the breasts of the turkey and we're not cooking the whole turkey, we can expect that when we cook these in our smoker at about 350 to 360 degrees, that the total cook time is going to be between 2.5 to 3 hours. The equipment that we're going to be using today is a Weber Smokey Mountain Cooker, and we're going to be using Royal Oak lump charcoal. It's all natural wood charcoal. It's going to give us the best possible flavor. We're going to be using 3 chunks of cherry wood for our smoke. Cherry wood will give us a nice mild smoke and should lend itself very well to giving some additional flavor to this turkey. And I'd really recommend that you don't use any more than 2 or 3 chunks of wood. When cooking poultry like this, you really want to make sure that you do not over smoke these. A real strong smoke flavor just really can turn bitter on you, even if you are using the milder fruit woods like cherry or apple. 2 to 3 chunks is the best way to go. One other thing to keep in mind when cooking poultry: obviously you want to make sure you wash the birds before you start the prep work, pat them dry, and of course always keep them as cold as possible to prevent any bacteria from forming. when you do cook them, you want to cook them to a minimum of 160 degrees so that all bacteria that may exist would be taken care of and it would be safe to eat. In order to make sure that we reach that safe temperature of 160 degrees, we're going to be using a remote thermometer. It's a Maverick ET732, and it does a great job at monitoring both your smoker temperature and the internal temperature of your meat. We're going to be using what's referred to as the minion method to set up our charcoal today. We've loaded our charcoal ring with the lump charcoal and the cherry wood, and we're going to take a chimney full of lit charcoal and we're going to spread that evenly around the top of the charcoal that we put in the ring, which is unlit. And what that's going to do, it's going to allow the cooker to do a nice even burn as the charcoal that's in the ring starts to burn. It'll just gradually burn down and work its way down towards the bottom of that charcoal ring. And we'll be able to adjust the air intakes on the bottom of the cooker to make sure that we have the ideal cooking temperature for this turkey, which we're going to be able to keep it probably right in that range of 350 to 365 degrees as we mentioned before. Now that we've got the lit charcoals in and everything is set up, we're going to replace the mid cooking section onto the smoker, and then we're going to put the lid on to allow it to get up to temperature. I also wanted to mention that we foiled our water pan and we did not put any water in it. This is going to allow us to achieve the higher cooking temperatures that we want. That water pan, if it is full of water, really helps keep the temperature down and is really best used only if we're doing low and slow type cooks. Once the cooker reaches 350 degrees, we can go ahead and load the turkey breasts onto the smoker. We want to make sure we set these breasts side up and make sure that there's enough spacing so that the heat can circulate and they're not too close together. While this turkey's cooking, we'll have plenty of time to get our side dishes put together. We're going to be serving a lettuce salad and some stuffing and some potatoes along with these. Now that we have reached 160 degrees of the internal temperature of the turkey breasts, we can check them and see that they're a nice, beautiful mahogany brown color, just what we want. And we're going to let them rest. We're going to loosely cover them in foil before we slice and serve them. I do like to serve this with a little turkey gravy or even a little barbecue sauce if you prefer. Either one is going to add a lot to the flavor and just really finish this off and make it taste great. Be sure you check out www.smokeandgrill.com, and we will see you next time.